In the silent, upper reaches of the Arctic Ocean, adrift in the vast, frozen expanse between mainland Norway and the North Pole, lies an archipelago of ice and stone. They are the stark and final summits of a submerged mountain range, sheared by the immense weight of glaciers and polished by the abrasive, crystalline wind. This is a realm of monumental, unforgiving grandeur and a quiet, deliberate human order. This is Svalbard. From the perspective of a satellite, the islands appear as a shard of white against the deep, permanent blue of the polar sea. Austere, remote, and seemingly surrendered to an eternal winter. The quality of darkness here is different, a deep, pervasive twilight that lasts for months. A state of being that seems to emanate from the very air, making the low glow of a distant streetlight impossibly vivid against the profound, silent black. But to look closer is to discover a modern, intricate society. One that has not merely survived but thrived, weaving its existence into the very fabric of this demanding environment. This is a story not of isolation, but of a deep and abiding adaptation to the cold that preserves, to the darkness that clarifies, and most importantly, to the quiet, resilient community that calls this place home. This is the story of the quiet life at the top of the world. The first conscious sound of the day is often the low, steady hum of the town's circulatory system. It is the sound of electricity flowing, of heated water moving through pipes, of the collective mechanical effort that holds the immense cold at bay. Outside, the world is a composition of stark and beautiful simplicity. The air, so pure and frigid it carries a crystalline sharpness, makes the simple act of breathing a conscious physical event. Each exhalation hangs for a moment in the still atmosphere, a fleeting, personal cloud that testifies to the warmth of life in a frozen world. The ground, a hard, permanent layer of permafrost covered in compressed snow, registers every footstep with a definitive, satisfying crunch. This is the sparse and elemental percussion of a life lived with intention. The settlement of Longyearbyen unfolds as a series of carefully placed structures, their clean, functional lines a deliberate counterpoint to the wild, jagged peaks that frame them. Life is lived within and between these points of light. The town's streetlights do not illuminate in the conventional sense. They create safe, delineated corridors through the darkness, pools of contained amber warmth that connect homes to workplaces, schools to community halls. Within these illuminated boundaries, the daily rhythm proceeds with a calm and unhurried grace. A small group of children, their brightly colored snowsuits a cheerful defiance of the monochrome landscape, walk to a school that serves as a bastion of light and knowledge, its windows glowing with a steady, reassuring presence from morning until afternoon. The harbor is a place of quiet, methodical activity. The arrival of a supply ship is a significant but understated event. A moment that reaffirms the town's connection to a distant, unseen world. Its cranes move with a slow, deliberate grace, unloading the containers that hold everything from fresh produce to machine parts, the essential components of a modern life maintained at an extreme latitude. In the distinct, historically Russian settlement of Barentsburg, a different language is heard and a different heritage is honored. Yet the underlying patterns of existence are strikingly similar. the shared need for warmth, for community, for the structure of a working day, creates a common human grammar that transcends cultural divides. Farther afield, in the rarefied air of Ny-Ålesund, life is distilled to its most focused form. Here, an international community of scientists moves with quiet purpose between advanced laboratories and modest living quarters, their lives dedicated to the patient, incremental work of understanding the planet's most subtle and powerful systems. Each of these communities, from the largest to the smallest, is a small island of human order, a carefully tended garden of routine and purpose flourishing in the deep, silent winter of the high Arctic. In a world without the familiar markers of sunrise and sunset, work becomes the primary architecture of the day. It is the framework upon which time is built, a source of rhythm and purpose that anchors the individual and the community in the long, undifferentiated expanse of the polar night. The labor performed here is rarely dramatic. It is, by necessity, methodical, precise, and deeply consequential. It is the quiet, collective effort that ensures the intricate machinery of this remote society continues to function smoothly. For the scientist in a laboratory, surrounded by the low hum of sensitive equipment, work is a form of deep listening. It is the patient analysis of data, the careful observation of minute changes in the atmosphere or the ice, a focused dialogue with the planet itself that continues uninterrupted by the darkness outside. For the maintenance technician, work is a constant physical negotiation with the cold. It is the skilled, often arduous task of keeping the town's essential infrastructure, its power lines, its water pipes, its heating systems operational in an environment that is perpetually seeking to freeze and fracture them. Their labor is largely unseen, but it is the foundation upon which all other activity rests. In the tourism sector, a guide prepares for an expedition, not with haste, but with a calm, ritualistic attention to detail. Every piece of equipment is checked, every contingency is considered. Their role is not merely to show visitors the landscape, but to interpret its power and its risks, to be a guardian of safety in a world of profound and unforgiving beauty. Even the most seemingly ordinary roles are imbued with a heightened sense of importance. The clerk in the grocery store is a steward of the community's sustenance. The bartender in the town's pub is a facilitator of its social life, creating a space of warmth and camaraderie, where stories are shared and bonds are strengthened. The teacher in the classroom is a custodian of the future, nurturing the next generation in this unique and challenging environment. It is said that no job in Svalbard is insignificant, because every role is an integral part of a small, interdependent ecosystem. The steady, dependable rhythm of these tasks, performed day after day through the long, dark winter, becomes a form of meditation. It is a bulwark against the psychological drift that the darkness can induce, a quiet, daily affirmation of human agency and purpose in the face of an immense and indifferent universe. The transition from the outside world to the inside is a moment of profound sensory change. It begins with the satisfyingly solid sound of a heavy, insulated door closing, a definitive act that seals out the immense cold and the deep, resonant silence of the Arctic. The air inside is warm, still, and filled with the subtle sense of domestic life, of brewing coffee, of a simmering meal, of wood and warm textiles. The home in Svalbard is more than a shelter. It is a carefully and consciously created sanctuary, a private universe of light, warmth, and personal order. It is the ultimate expression of control in an environment that is fundamentally uncontrollable. These spaces are designed and inhabited with a unique intentionality. The Norwegian concept of coastlines is a guiding principle, a feeling of deep coziness, contentment, and shared warmth that is actively cultivated. Light is the most crucial element. Lamps are chosen not just for their brightness, but for the quality of their glow, and are placed strategically to create intimate, inviting pools of illumination. Windows, which for months frame a view of near-total darkness, become reflective surfaces, mirroring the warmth of the interior back on itself, reinforcing the sense of the home as a self-contained vessel of comfort. The act of removing one's heavy, snow-covered boots in the gang or entryway is a universal and non-negotiable ritual, a clear demarcation between the wild, external world and the ordered, domestic one. For the many residents who are here on temporary contracts, these houses and apartments are not permanent homes, yet they are invested with a deep sense of care and personality. Books line the shelves, photographs of distant families adorn the walls, and textiles from faraway homelands add color and texture. These objects are more than decorations. They are anchors of identity, tangible links to a life and a history that exists beyond this remote archipelago. In the long evenings of the polar night, the home becomes the center of the social world. It is where friends gather for long, unhurried meals, where conversations unfold over hours, where the quiet, essential work of strengthening community bonds takes place. It is a haven, a refuge, and a testament to the human need to create a small, warm, and ordered world, no matter how vast or cold the wilderness outside. In a place with so few people, spread across such a vast and empty landscape, the concept of community takes on a tangible and vital importance. It is the invisible infrastructure that supports every aspect of daily life, a resilient and unspoken agreement of mutual reliance. The small population fosters an atmosphere of pervasive familiarity, where anonymity is a luxury that does not exist. A walk through the town's single main street is a journey through a network of quiet acknowledgements, a nod, a raised hand, a brief exchange of pleasantries that reaffirms a shared identity. This is not the forced friendliness of a small town, but the simple, pragmatic recognition of a common fate. Trust is the foundational principle upon which this society is built. It is an absolute and assumed condition born of the understanding that survival and well-being are inextricably linked. This trust manifests in countless small, everyday acts. It is the reason snowmobiles are left with their keys in the ignition, ready for anyone to use in an emergency. It is the reason homes are often left unlocked and children are given a degree of freedom to roam and explore that would be unthinkable in most other parts of the world. It is the instinctive sharing of information, a warning about treacherous ice conditions, a report of a polar bear sighting, an offer of a spare part for a broken machine. This powerful sense of collective responsibility is most evident in times of need. When a blizzard grounds all flights and isolates the archipelago from the outside world, there is no panic, only a calm and patient acceptance, and a quiet checking in on neighbors. When a personal crisis strikes, the community mobilizes with a swift and understated efficiency, offering support without fanfare or expectation of gratitude. This is a society that understands its own fragility, its dependence on both its technological systems and its human connections. The bonds forged here are not necessarily ones of deep emotional intimacy, but of a profound and practical solidarity. It is a community defined not by what is said, but by what is implicitly understood, that in this remote and beautiful place, everyone is, in some essential way, responsible for everyone else. The landscape of Svalbard is a constant and powerful presence. It is not a backdrop for human activity, but an active participant in it. A force that shapes every decision, defines every boundary, and commands a deep and unwavering respect. The mountains, with their sharp, serrated ridges and vast, glacier-filled valleys, are not picturesque. They are monumental, a testament to the raw geological power of the planet. During the polar night, their immense forms are often visible only as silhouettes against a star-dusted sky, or during the ethereal glow of a full moon. Their presence felt as much as it is seen. There is no softness here, no gentle transition from the man-made to the natural. The edge of the settlement is a hard, definitive line. To step beyond it is to enter a realm where human rules no longer apply. The relationship with this environment is not one of fear, but of profound and educated vigilance. It is a relationship built on knowledge, preparation, and an unsentimental acceptance of nature's supreme indifference. The weather is not a topic of casual conversation. It is the most critical information of the day, studied with the focus of a navigator reading a chart. A sudden drop in temperature, a shift in the wind's direction, the arrival of a low-pressure system. These are the events that dictate the possibility of travel, of work, of life itself. The mandatory requirement for anyone leaving the settlements to be armed with a rifle is the most stark and sobering expression of this relationship. It is not an act of aggression, but a humble acknowledgement of the local food chain, a constant reminder that one is a visitor in the territory of a powerful predator. Living here requires learning a new sensory language. It is the ability to read the texture of the snow, to understand the sounds of the sea ice, to feel the subtle atmospheric changes that precede a storm. It is an understanding that the landscape's breathtaking beauty is inextricably linked to its potential danger. This deep, abiding respect, forged over generations of experience, is the key to existence in the high Arctic. It is the quiet, daily practice of humility in the face of a power that is ancient, absolute, and magnificent. The glow of a laptop screen in a darkened room, its light reflecting in the pupils of a scientist analyzing climate data, is a powerful symbol of Svalbard's paradoxical nature. It is a place that is simultaneously one of the most remote on Earth and one of the most technologically connected. A subsea fiber optic cable, a silent and invisible thread stretching for hundreds of miles beneath the icy waters of the Greenland Sea, tethers this Arctic outpost to the global digital network. This connection is not a luxury. It is an essential piece of the modern infrastructure that makes life and, crucially, world-class research possible here. This seamless connectivity allows for a surreal juxtaposition of experiences. It is possible to stand on a glacier that has been grinding its way towards the sea for millennia and in the next moment participate in a video conference with colleagues in Tokyo, Berlin, and San Francisco. This flow of information and the constant, transient movement of people it enables researchers, technicians, students, artists creates a uniquely cosmopolitan atmosphere. In a place with the population of a small village, dozens of nationalities are represented, making Longyearbyen one of the most international communities in the world. Yet, for all its high-speed data and global connections, the dominance of the modern world is held in a delicate balance. The sheer, overwhelming reality of the environment serves as a constant anchor. A blizzard can still sever all physical links to the outside world for days on end, reminding everyone of their profound isolation. The practical, physical demands of daily life, of staying warm, of ensuring the water supply does not freeze, of respecting the power of the weather always take precedence. Technology is a vital tool, a facilitator, a window to a wider world, but it is not the defining feature of life here. The defining feature remains the landscape itself, and the quiet, resilient human culture that has adapted to its timeless rhythms. To choose a life in the high Arctic is to accept a unique set of challenges, many of which are subtle, internal, and cumulative. The most profound of these is the long, unlit winter. The absence of the sun is more than a physical phenomenon. It is a psychological one. It can subtly alter the body's natural rhythms, disrupt patterns of sleep, and exert a slow gravitational pull on one's mood and energy. It requires a conscious and sustained effort to combat this, to maintain a strict daily routine, to force oneself to be physically active, to seek out social connection even when the instinct is to hibernate. There is also the undeniable reality of distance, a constant low-level awareness of the immense geographical and emotional space that separates one from family, friends, and the familiar comforts of a former life. While digital communication can bridge this gap, it cannot erase it. The feeling of being on the periphery, of life unfolding elsewhere, is a quiet companion for many residents. This is compounded by the transient nature of the community. Friendships can be intense and meaningful, but they are often bound by the fixed term of a work contract, leading to a recurring cycle of hellos and goodbyes that can be emotionally taxing. The physical environment, while beautiful, is also a source of constant, low-grade stress. The need for constant vigilance, the potential for danger just beyond the town's limits, the logistical complexities of a life dependent on imported goods, all of these contribute to a mental load that is unique to this place. These are not struggles that are spoken of with drama or complaint. They are simply accepted as part of the fundamental contract of living here, managed with the same quiet pragmatism and emotional restraint that defines all other aspects of life. They are the understood counterweights to the profound beauty and unique sense of purpose that this extraordinary environment provides. In a world that prizes mobility and endless choice, the decision to remain in a place so remote and demanding can seem enigmatic. The reasons are rarely simple, and are often discovered over time rather than arriving as a single clear revelation. People stay, in part, for the profound sense of clarity that life here provides. The stripping away of the non-essential, the endless consumer choices, the social complexities, The background noise of modern urban life leaves behind a core of existence that feels more direct, more authentic, more real. Work has a clear and tangible purpose. Community has a clear and tangible meaning. They stay for the unique quality of the silence, for the space it creates for introspection and a deeper connection to the natural world. To live in Svalbard is to be in a constant, humbling dialogue with the planet. It is an experience that fundamentally recalibrates one's sense of scale and priorities, that fosters a deep and abiding respect for the forces that shape our world. This connection becomes a part of one's identity, a quiet, internal compass that can make life elsewhere feel cluttered and disconnected. And ultimately, they stay for the powerful, unshakable sense of belonging. It is the feeling of being part of a small, resilient community that understands and shares the unique challenges and rewards of this life. It is the freedom that comes from living in a society built on absolute trust. It is the simple, priceless peace of knowing your children are safe. It is the unbreakable bond with a landscape that is not just a place, but a presence, a force that gets into the blood and shapes the soul. It is the quiet, deeply held conviction that in this small, ordered world at the edge of everything, they have found a true and meaningful home. In the highest reaches of the northern world, where the long polar night holds its deepest power, a subtle promise begins to form on the southern horizon. It is not yet light, but the memory of it, a faint ethereal glow that softens the hard edge of the darkness. Here, the Earth's axis tilts back toward the sun, beginning a slow, patient journey out of its long and dreamlike slumber. The sun does not simply rise, it returns, its light gradually reclaiming the sky over weeks, transforming the landscape from a world of monochrome and shadow into one of color and brilliant, reflected light. But to look closer is to see that the fundamental rhythms of life remain unchanged. The routines, the work, the quiet bonds of community, these are the constants that have provided meaning and structure through the darkest days. This is a story not of a world reborn, but of a deep and abiding continuity, a portrait of a community that has learned to find its strength not in the presence of the sun, but in the quiet, resilient, and deeply admirable life they have built in every season.